Good Thursday. It's time for the Show Me Almanac for October 6, 2016. I'm your armchair news reporter and presenter, Joe Hafner, with you. And we started the day off with cloudy skies, areas of showers and thunderstorms across much of northern and central Missouri. Temperatures cooled off into the lower 60s. And for the rest of the day, there is a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies will hang around. Temperatures once again warming up into the upper 70s with gusty south winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, gusting up to 15 to 20 miles per hour. Cloudy skies for tonight, a good chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before 1 a.m. And then for tomorrow, a return to cooler weather under mostly cloudy skies, as well as drier weather. I'll have complete details on the forecast coming up in a few minutes. In the meantime, take a look at the community calendar for today on the 6th day of October. A few items to tell you about includes a Red Cross blood drive going on from 10 until 3 today at the Scotland County Hospital at 450 East Sigler Street, Parking Lot B in Memphis. Blood donation appointments can be easily scheduled by using the Red Cross Blood Donor app, visiting redcrossblood.org, or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Also going on, the Adair County Public Library is hosting the Wiggles and Giggles Storytime event every Thursday for 2-year-olds from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Head on down to the library at 1 Library Lane in Kirksville. If you need more information about their services, call 660-665-6038. That's 660-665-6038. The Missouri Veterans Commission office on the first floor of the Adair County Courthouse is now open Monday through Fridays from 8:30 to 4:30. For details on their services, call 660-785-2460. That's 660-785-2460. And coming up later this month, the Deborah Seward Sapp Memorial Cancer Benefit takes place on Saturday, October 15th at the McMain's Auction House on Potter Trail off of Highway 6 in Kirksville. Event starts at 5 o'clock, dinner at 5:30. Raffle and auction begin at 7, karaoke to follow. They're also looking for donations and volunteers. If you wish to help out, contact Greg at 660-221-7913. Again, that number for Greg is 660-221-7913, or contact Liz at 360-202-7569. 360-202-7569. And 2 weeks from this Saturday, the Adair County Mobile Food Pantry distribution takes place on October 22nd, beginning at 11 a.m. at the Hamilton Street Baptist Church. A number is required to receive food. Numbers will be given out starting at 9 o'clock that morning. To receive food, you must bring your photo ID, Social Security cards for each person living with you, along with proof of residency in Adair County, and something to take home the food, like a bag, box, or basket. And that concludes the community calendar for this Thursday. Now let's take a look at local and regional news of interest in northern and central Missouri. Leading off the stories this morning, on this Thursday, Missouri has made some big strides in saving electricity. The latest report card from the American Council for an Energy-Efficient Economy ranks the Show Me State 32nd among states, up 12 spots from 2015. Christy Manning, director of the Missouri Department of Energy, says, as part of the Obama administration's Clean Power Plan, states are encouraged to select energy efficiency as a way to meet goals set by the federal government.
With just some thoughtful planning, it's not hard for a state to start making some real progress and advancement in these areas, but it does require some strategic planning and thoughtfulness in how to approach it and how to do it most meaningfully.
The report card notes that Missouri is the most improved state in the nation this year in terms of energy efficiency. The state was praised for its Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, or PACE. It allows property owners to apply for financing to make energy-saving upgrades, like adding insulation, storm windows and doors, LED lighting, and upgrades to heating and cooling systems. The money is paid back over the course of 20 years. A Hannibal woman who pleaded guilty to her role in the shooting of a Monroe City police officer will learn her fate today. 35-year-old June Smith admitted in August to hindering the prosecution of Timothy Brooks, the man charged with shooting Officer Jonathan Travis Pugh when Pugh was attempting to arrest him in January in connection with a murder in Hannibal. Smith was with Brooks when he and Pugh exchanged gunfire in the parking lot of a Monroe City business. Brooks and Pugh each sustained non-life-threatening injuries in the exchange. Smith had gone missing January 12th, about the same time that officers discovered the body of 30-year-old Brittany Couch in a Hannibal home. Brittany's husband, Aaron, was wounded by gunfire in another incident outside the city. Brooks is facing first-degree murder and assault charges in Marion and Monroe counties in connection with the three shootings. The Randolph County 4-H program turns the page after a successful past year. Youth program assistant Vicki Troyer says the meat judging team is heading to nationals.
That consisted of Anna Kate Link, Cindy Boffman, Skylar Huntsman, and Tori Brumbauer. They won the state meats judging contest. They're going to the national contest. I think it's the 18th and 19th. It's at the American Royal. Well, actually, they go to Manhattan, Kansas to judge the meats. And I'm very proud of them. Chris Boffman is their coach.
Troyer says Randolph County was represented on the national champion state shooting team as well.
Tori Brumbauer was on the state 22 shooting team, and Missouri, now we're talking about shooting sports, we're talking about archery all the way across all the handguns and everything. They won the nationals this summer, second year in a row, so we're very proud of our shooting sports kids in the state.
Troyer reports Randolph County 4-H had 150 members and over 70 volunteers this past year. She says the new year is starting up now for the 6 clubs in Randolph County. Troyer, now in her 10th year as the youth program assistant, can be found at their new downtown Moberly office at 509 West Reed Street. A stronger September and fewer refunds have resulted in a year-to-date increase of $70 million in Missouri tax collections. Acting State Budget Director Dan Hogg announced on Tuesday that net general revenue collections now total $2.17 billion, a nearly 4% increase from last year. Month to month, Missouri collected $49 million more than in September of last year, a gain of nearly 6%. Individual income tax collections are up 4.6% for the year at $1.57 billion, while sales and use tax collections jumped a little over 9% between September of last year and September of this year. Corporate tax collections dropped to $98.8 million, while refunds are down nearly $129 million. Missouri schools will get additional money because Missouri Governor Jay Nixon has decided to reverse a few of the budget cuts he made earlier in the year. Yesterday, the governor released about $12 million of previously blocked spending, including $9 million for public schools. The Democratic governor cited a report released a day earlier showing Missouri revenues grew by nearly 6% in September compared with the same time last year. The school funding was part of $59 million of budget cuts the governor announced last month after lawmakers overrode his vetoes to enact new state tax breaks. Nixon also released money for the University of Missouri Kansas City, community health clinics, and a Sullivan County Lake project that has been on hold since July. More than $162 million of budgeted spending remains on hold. The Callaway County Sheriff's Office says 2 men who led deputies on a high-speed chase were out of jail on parole at the time. 30-year-old Jordan Rapps is accused of breaking into a house, and 28-year-old James Wills is accused of slamming his car into a second car several times. When the two were stopped by a deputy, Wills allegedly put his car into reverse, hitting the deputy's squad car before taking off at high speed. Both men were soon arrested, although Rapps was later released. Finally, in local and regional news for this Thursday, the Ashby Hodge Gallery at Central Methodist University in Fayette features notable works donated by alumni Virginia Monroe and John Hutcherson as part of its current show, The Figure in Woodcuts. Curator Denise Gebhardt describes the 20 pieces coming from Monroe's estate.
2 busts, one of her mother, another of an African woman, and the rest of the collection are paintings, drawings, local scenes or scenes from Missouri, and or some of them by artists such as Brian Mayhew, who was a resident of Howard County for many years, does works in plein air as an outdoor painting, so we have 2 works by him. Stephen Rust, who has a gallery, he works around Roachport. We have a piece by him, a still life, so there's a good collection, good representation.
Gephardt says her personal favorite is a painting of former Missouri Governor Claiborne Fox Jackson's home located outside of Glasgow. Monroe died in February, but the 1970 CMU graduate was an original docent and member of the Ashby-Hodge Board of Directors from its inception. Gephardt says the Englewood, Colorado-based cardiologist John Hutcherson contributed works with many Western themes.
3 sculptures, 2 of animals, a ram and a bounding mule deer, and another is a beautiful sculpture titled Camille. The artist is a man by the name of Michael Naranjo. There are scenes representing Native Americans. Probably the most significant are 6 Salvador Dali pieces. He was certainly most known for his surrealism, his works in these very dreamlike, rather bizarre objects that he includes that have very deep symbolism and meaning to your psyche.
Gephardt also called the Ashby-Hodge Gallery CMU's hidden gems, saying that visitors are often surprised by the quality and prominence of the works. The free show runs through November 17th from 1:30 to 4:30 on Sunday and Tuesday through Thursday. Coming up in just a few moments on this edition of the Show Me Almanac, we'll have a complete look at the weather forecast. In the meantime, taking a look at the community calendar for tomorrow. And a few items to tell you about as we end the work week together on the 7th day of October. Moose Lodge 1751 and the Women of the Moose 824 will be having an all-you-can-eat soup luncheon from 11 until 1 tomorrow. Homemade soups include chili, potato, ham, and beans, along with vegetable, and desserts will be served. Proceeds will go to benefit the Moose Lodge 1751 and the Women of the Moose number 824, located at 2405 East Illinois Street in Kirksville. Dine-in or carry-out is available by calling 665-8300. Again, that's 660-665-8300. Also going on tomorrow, there's a Red Cross Blood Drive going on from 1 until 6 at the Highland Crest at 2204 South Halliburton in Kirksville. Blood donation appointments can be easily scheduled by using the Red Cross Blood Donor app, visiting redcrossblood.org, or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. And the Faith Lutheran School is hosting their annual Fall Festival tomorrow at 5:30 at the Nemo Fairgrounds. Admission is $6, includes a meal and 5 carnival game tickets. Activities include assorted carnival games, petting zoo, bingo for all ages, along with a dessert table, live and silent auctions, plus a whole lot more. And the Adair County Public Library will host the Bookworm Club Storytime every Friday for kids ages 3 to 5 years of age from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come down to 1 Library Lane in Kirksville, or details about their services can be found out by calling 660-665-6038. That's 660-665-6038. And that concludes the community calendar for tomorrow. We'll have a look at the weather forecast.
Missouri Net News. Good morning. I'm Jason Taylor. A Missouri congresswoman who voted to sustain President Barack Obama's veto of the 9/11 bill says the legislation could have unintended consequences involving the military's security. Brian Hausworth spoke to her.
The U.S. Congress has voted overwhelmingly to override President Obama's veto of a bill that allows families of those killed in the September 11th terrorist attacks to sue Saudi Arabia for any role in the plot. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, a Harrisonville Republican, serves on the House Armed Services Committee. She tells Missouri Net her heart goes out to the families of the 9/11 attacks, but that she also shares concerns expressed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Joseph Dunford.
I just really believe that when we start changing our national sovereignty laws, it really could open up other countries to taking on our military, our intelligence officers in their countries, and our diplomatic corps, and hauling them into a foreign court.
Hartzler's district includes Fort Leonard Wood and Whiteman Air Force Base. The vote to override in the Senate was 90 97-1. In the House, 348-77. Hartzler was one of 18 Republicans who voted to sustain the president's veto. Brian Helsworth, Missouri Net.
8 Joplin City employees are being laid off November 1st as part of a budget cut. City Manager Sam Anselm acknowledged the total number of job cuts was 13, with 5 vacant positions also being eliminated. A long-delayed mid-Missouri construction project now has a firm completion date. The westbound side of the Missouri River Bridge in Jefferson City will reopen November 14th after 2 previous dates were scrapped because of complications with rust. Patty Lamangeli with the State Transportation Department says the contractor working on the project will be penalized if the new deadline's not met.
It's now in the contract, and if they exceed that, then they go into liquidated damages.
The maintenance and repainting project started in May. The 3-lane westbound structure carries almost 30,000 vehicles a day. Some St. Louis area state lawmakers, including Creve Coeur Democrat Jill Shoup, will be hosting a health fair this Saturday with free flu shots and health screenings.
There is no reason for somebody in St. Louis County not to try to access what they need to help them with family situations, crises, or just to make sure they're staying healthy and fit.
Dozens of vendors will be there, including the Alzheimer's Association, Diabetes Association, and those with cancer treatment and prevention information. The event will be Saturday from 10 to noon at the Overland Community Center in the St. Louis suburb of Overland, free and open to the public. A Southeast Missouri woman's been convicted of involuntary manslaughter. A jury found 29-year-old Savannah Davis guilty yesterday in the death of John Sharber in 2014. Davis admitted to hitting Sharber with her car in the parking lot of a Sykeston Walmart, but claimed it was an accident. She also admitted to putting Sharber, who she was having an affair with, in the backseat of a car and driving to several locations before leaving him in a hospital parking lot and fleeing to Arkansas. Jason Taylor, Missouri Net.
Missouri Net Sports is presented by the Missouri Department of Mental Health. You know yourself better than anyone. When it comes to drugs and alcohol, you make the choices. Be under your own influence.org.
Missouri Net Sports, I'm Bill Pollock. Madison Bumgarner pitched a complete game 4-hit shutout. The Giants won the National League wild card 3-0 over the Mets. Looking ahead to 2017 for both of our clubs, the general managers have hinted they will explore the free agent market to improve their teams. But Dayton Moore of the Royals said the club won't be free spenders this offseason.
We've got a great foundation in which to start. We have a lot of, all-star caliber players that we think can get back to their custom level. We'll count on that. But we also recognize the need to maybe mix it up a little bit. And
John Mozeliak of the Cardinals doesn't have a lot of flexibility in this roster, so he knows he needs some new pieces. With Matt Holliday not coming back, he'd like to move Randall Grichuk over to left.
What can we do to upgrade in center versus keeping Grichuk there? And if we don't find a good solution, then you just keep Grichuk there and put someone else in left. But, I feel for us, it's really going to be exploring what that trade and free agent market looks like before we make that determination.
All right, on to football. Bye week for the Chiefs. Through 4 games, Marcus Peters leads the NFL with 4 interceptions. The Chiefs have forced 10 takeaways. They rank second in the NFL. And the Chiefs are third in the league with 62 plays of 10 or more yards. So they've got the ability to force turnovers. The offense can make big plays. Andy Reid says now the team has to keep their emotions in check.
Control ourselves and play better, not let our emotions get the best of us. And our guys busted their tail. They tried hard, but you got to learn how to control that.
Hockey last night at the Sprint Center in Kansas City. The Blues and Washington Capitals. Former Blue TJ Oshie scored 2 goals. Capitals won 4-2. Just under 12,000 fans. Great turnout last night. Bill Pollock, Missouri Net Sports.
Electricity makes our everyday lives more convenient. It can also be deadly if not used properly. Dozens of farm workers are killed each year when farm machinery comes into contact with power lines. Your local electric cooperative urges you to watch for overhead power lines when moving equipment like portable augers and combines. Make sure everyone knows to keep farm equipment at least 10 feet away from power lines. Working to keep you safe.
Discover the value of your co-op membership. Visit membersfirst.coop today.
Drive it home with Special Olympics Missouri. Purchase your $5 Drive it home ticket today for your chance to win a 2016 Ford F-150. Each ticket sold gives Special Olympics Missouri athletes a chance to succeed on and off the field. Visit somo.org/win and get your Drive it home ticket today. Winner will be drawn on November 25th, 2016. Must be present to win. Winner responsible for all taxes and licenses. For complete rules, eligibility, and prize information, visit somo.org/win.
Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Priddy. Listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the Show Me State by visiting MissouriNet.com today.
It was well into the 20th century before the remaining Seminole Indians in Florida signed a peace treaty with the United States. Twice in the first third of the 19th century, the Indians fought the United States Army, and in 1817, U.S. forces crossed into what was then Spanish-owned Florida to arrest a Seminole chief. That started the First War. In the second conflict, 20 years later, Missouri lost one of its most distinguished citizens in a scandalous event. The story after this.
Remember, study for your quiz tomorrow. Teaching is so rewarding and so important for our children. They need every chance for a stronger and better future. That's why a yes vote on Amendment 3 is important. Missouri ranks near the bottom in early childhood education. A yes vote on Amendment 3 will invest in education by raising Missouri's cigarette tax for the first time in 23 years. It's the lowest in the nation. Studies show investing in pre-K produces improvement in reading and math and higher graduation rates. Here's the best part. Amendment 3 funding can only go to children and families. The law says politicians can't divert the money for any other purpose. Politicians can't touch the money. It's for children and families. Let's stop career politicians and vote yes on Amendment 3. Let's support pre-K and a better future for our children. I'm voting yes on Amendment 3. It's important you do too. Paid for by Vote Yes on 3 for Kids, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
The tragedy began in 1830 when an act was approved letting the federal government trade western lands for those held by eastern Indians. But the Seminoles didn't want to lose their lands in Florida, and they vowed to fight to keep them. The uprising continued until 1842. It cost the U.S. $40 to $60 million in the lives of thousands of officers and soldiers before some of the Seminoles surrendered and were sent west, but others held out and are still in lower Florida. Senator Thomas Hart Benton had constantly criticized the way the Army was conducting operations during the war, until President Van Buren asked if Benton thought Missourians would go 1,500 miles to get into the fight. Benton reported that Missourians would go wherever they were needed, and so Van Buren called for Missouri volunteers, much to the opposition of the field commander in Florida, General Zachary Taylor. Colonel Richard Gentry of Columbia commanded the 600 Missouri Volunteers. Gentry, a veteran of the War of 1812, a former state senator, co-founder of Columbia and two of the female colleges there, and Major General of the Missouri Militia in the Black Hawk War, was also Columbia's postmaster. The government promised each man $8 a month to fight, plus 40 cents a day for his horse. Gentry signed notes for those men who could not afford horses. His family wound up being burdened with that debt for years. When the Missourians reached Taylor's position in the Everglades, he had a group of Indians cornered, if you will, on top of a hill. Gentry's scouts suggested an encirclement, but Taylor ordered the Missourians to wade through water chest deep to attack the hill from the front. It was target practice for the Indians. Gentry was hit twice, but continued to stand for an hour, rallying his men before he finally collapsed. Taylor finally called for his troops to make the flanking attack that Gentry had suggested, and when he did, the Indians fled. Taylor talked to the dying Gentry and said he would praise the volunteers, although he thought Gentry might have been a little imprudent in his attack. Later, though, in his official report, Taylor reversed himself. He praised Gentry, now dead, but he accused the Missourians of being cowards who broke ranks and fled despite efforts to rally them. The volunteers, as you might expect, were incensed. The legislature ordered an immediate investigation and heard statements from other Army officers refuting Taylor's report. The legislature passed a resolution condemning the report and demanding a federal investigation. The president never called for it, but Senator Benton and Senator Atchison made such noise that Taylor finally changed his report. Benton later secured for Gentry's widow the job of postmistress in Columbia, making her one of the first women ever to hold such a job, and she kept it for nearly 30 years. It was not until the days of tourists flowing into Florida and rockets flying out of Florida that the rest of the Seminoles finally signed a peace treaty with the United States, and they were allowed to stay in Florida. It all happened, though, more than a century after Missouri's 1st Regiment of Volunteers for the Seminole War was mustered in for what became a tragic tour of duty on this date, the 6th of October in 1837.
That was Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Priddy. To listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the Show Me State, visit MissouriNet.com.
Turning our attention to the weather forecast for today, it looks like we'll see mostly cloudy skies. Still a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Rainfall amounts anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch possible. Again, cloudy skies otherwise, with highs in the mid to upper 70s. South winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, with wind gusts up to 15 to 20 miles per hour. Cloudy skies for tonight, chance of showers and thunderstorms ending after midnight. Lows around 50 degrees. South to southeasterly winds at 10 miles an hour, turning to the northwest after midnight. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy and much cooler, gradually turning sunny. Highs around 60 to 65 degrees. North to northwesterly winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind gust up to 20 miles per hour. Mostly clear for Friday night. Lows in the lower 40s. Winds turning calm in the evening. Looking into the weekend, sunny skies for Saturday and Sunday. High in the mid-60s to near 70. Lows in the mid-40s to near 50. For Columbus Day, sunny skies on Monday. Highs in the low 70s. Lows in the lower 50s. A little bit warmer for Tuesday and Wednesday. Under mostly sunny skies. Highs in the low to mid-70s. Lows in the mid-50s. That's been a brief look at local and regional news of interest, along with the weather forecast and the community calendar on the Show Me Almanac for this Thursday, the 6th day of October 2016. I'm your armchair news reporter and presenter, Joe Hafner, saying my time is up. Thank you for yours.